Hello and welcome back everybody, my name is Reimu Pakare, and today I'll be doing a review on the new Russian Tier 8 premium carrier, the Chkalov. Now keep in mind, this review is opinionated and based on my own experiences from playing her in all of her test iterations to the live server. Now before I start, I want to show off the nerf that was done to her from testing phase to her release in patch 0.10.8. I'll leave it up here in the background. And you can see that there is a bit of a difference with how high the bombs are actually being dropped from and the bomb speed at which they drop. Chkalov is basically a tier 8 carrier who has the Saipan style, where she consists of the tier 10 planes from Nakhimov. Except she doesn't suffer from the extremely long plane regen nor the low reserves as Saipan does. Now if we compare her to Pobeda, who has the loadout to harass larger ships like cruisers and battleships, and sometimes even carriers, the Chkalov gives up the hard-hitting rockets for HE dive bombers to help against destroyers. And most of the time, these dive bombers will be primarily used against destroyers or anything with lower levels of AA, just because of how low HP each plane has in their squadron. Some other differences that the Chkalov has over the Pobeda is Chkalov has more planes in reserves, as well as a much faster restoration time. The planes themselves go faster than the tech tree variant, and also the squadron consists of one extra plane with one extra torpedo. So this means you drop 6 instead of the usual 5 from the tech tree. The torpedoes hit harder, they go a maximum damage of 5200, and the flooding chance is higher at 45%. Next are the skip bombers. The skip bombers on the Chkalov matches the same as the tier 10 Nakhimov in terms of speed, going 125 base and a maximum speed of 161.5 knots. Now another difference between the two that I've actually found interesting was the fighters on the Chkalov matches those as a tier 10 Nakhimov. What this means is she carries 2 more planes with each charge, meaning she has 7 compared to the usual tier 8's 5 fighters per squad, and also the radius that they fly around is 3.5 compared to the tier 8's 3.0. Her squadron loadout consists of torpedo bombers, HE dive bombers, and HE skip bombers. Her theme is pretty much the same as the rest of the Russian carriers line, but just without the rockets, and instead she has the dive bombers. So going more in depth with her loadout, her torpedo bombers have a very long arming time of 7 seconds, but the torpedo range is 6 kilometers. The spread is extremely tight and can land multiple hits even against a bow-in battleship. With a combination of a higher alpha, a higher flood chance, and more torpedoes in your squadron, hitting any target with these torpedo bombers will really hurt them for the rest of the match. The skip bombers can be considered to be the bread and butter of Chkalov. With decent penetration, higher fire chance, and high bomb count, these can really pack a punch if dropped properly. You drop 6 bombs that are a great tool to use against destroyers as well. This is a squadron that you'll most likely be spamming the most, so try to practice with them if you haven't had experience with the Immelman yet. What makes the squadron so strong is not only does it have great offensive capabilities, but also the maximum range of these bombs lets you drop them at the max range of most ships, which means you won't be in the AA aura for too long. The dive bombers are next, and they're funny. RNG plays a huge factor here, and they're going to be used mostly against destroyers. You drop 6 bombs to help with this, and dropping them at its lowest altitude will be the safest bet to land more bombs. Unless you have to, I wouldn't try to use them on a cruiser or a battleship due to how quickly they evaporate under AA fire. I had this question asked a few times on stream as well as on my Discord server. How were we to compare Chkalov to the Pobeda? Best way to go about this is just think about it like this. Do I want a Russian carrier who has the tools to deal with battleships and cruisers at all stages of the game? Or do I want to switch a squadron out for a tool against destroyers, and while also having the benefits of a tier 10 plane stats? I personally would pick the Chkalov mainly in like a ranked setting, just because of the amount of destroyers and now submarines in there, and leave the tech tree over to random battles, mainly due to the fact that the tech tree has a better toolkit for farming in randoms. All in all, I am enjoying the ship a lot, even back in testing, and I recommend this carrier to any player who wants to pick her up. Although this does have a higher skill floor, I still believe that this is a carrier worth buying. I view Chkalov as a very strong carrier in the hands of a very good player, and she is able to be an absolute beast. She's able to perform even when put in a tier 10 match, and not many tier 8 carriers are able to keep up with the amount of anti-air that are available at tier 10. And of course, she's able to just steamroll any tier 6 that she gets faced against. Alright, so this is it for the quick review of the new Russian tier 8 carrier Chkalov, and if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask me in the comment section or ask me on Discord. I'll go ahead and leave the game running in the background for you guys to watch how she plays out and see how the reticles are and all that kind of stuff. So thanks for watching, and I hope you all have a good weekend.
Всем союзникам, защищайте указанный корабль. Союзники, передаю координаты важной цели. Неполадки устранены.